What is up, guys? Rick Kackis here. Thank you so much for stopping by, and today we've got some brand spanking new Destiny 2 news, courtesy of the Bungie weekly update that has just gone live, unveiling official information. And so, let's get started. But just before we do, if you're stuck in your house with nothing to do but game, you probably want to upgrade your headset. Seriously, having a good headset is super important. If you're playing that new Valorant game, hearing footsteps is essential to win, and I would highly recommend ASTRO's. Thanks to my partnership, you can click the link in the description down below, get a discount code to save you money and help support the channel. Definition of a win-win right there. All right, now let's get on with the news. So, this week in Destiny 2, the final bunker on Io, the Rasputin bunker, was opened up, giving us access to all of the different Seraph weapons. The machine gun is definitely the creme de la creme. Go for that clown cartridge firing line roll if you can. But aside from that, Bungie talked about right away new stuff coming later. So, first things first, Monday, April 13th at 10 a.m. Pacific on Bungie's Twitch channel, they're hosting a COVID-19 fundraiser. So all of the proceeds obviously are going to relief efforts for the pandemic, and this is actually the in-game emblem you can earn if you participate within this fundraiser. Now, they said that they're going to unveil on Monday how you can actually earn this emblem. Likely it'll be a certain amount you need to donate, or perhaps if you matchmake with the people at Bungie that are playing during that day. But if you want to participate, definitely there's your info on that. And I actually do like that emblem quite a bit. Moving on from there, Bungie finally talked about the upcoming Grandmaster Difficulty for Nightfalls. Now, this is going to launch on the same day that Guardian Games goes live, and that's going to be April 21st, that reset. So, they talk about, what's the difference? What's so special about Grandmaster Difficulty? Now, Bungie says it will test your fireteam's coordination, communication, builds, and skill like no other activity in Destiny to date. Like, more difficult than a day one raid? Is that what you're saying, Bungie? Now, here's the goals that Bungie had going into this. Firstly, Grandmaster should build on Master difficulty, but be significantly more challenging. Once you reach a certain bar, the challenge should be found completely in perfecting your builds, communication, and execution. The primary rewards should be doled out on initial completion, and the completion should be the primary metric for success, rather than the score or time or another in-game activity metric like killing all the champions. Grandmaster should stress the top end of build crafting, and Grandmaster should be watchable. Interesting. So they say to even attempt Grandmaster, you will need to be a power level of 125, which is 15 power above the pinnacle cap, but will be 25 power below the activity, which will be set at a power level of 1050. We're also going to have something similar to the contest mode we introduced for Crown of Sorrow. Interesting. So you will gain no extra advantage for being higher than 125. So I mentioned the day one raids. Well, that's going to come into effect. So they said they wanted a mixture of pinnacle rewards and artifact power to get you prepped for this, but not to make you feel like you had to put in a ton of extra hours over leveling for the activity. However, obviously, rip the people who did over level, expecting themselves to gain an advantage in this activity. Now, they say there's going to be new and difficult modifiers, like firstly, extinguish. So if your team wipes, you go back to orbit, and you have limited revives. So you only have a small pool of shared revives. So if you just keep dying, you'll run out and then you'll have to go back to orbit. But really interestingly, you actually gain more revives when you kill a champion. So you can be a little bit aggressive and throw away some deaths per se. As long as you're actually slaying out and getting those kills, you'll be able to get more. But of course, this all sounds, pretty good if you're looking for a very difficult, challenging activity. What's the reward going to be like? Well, Bungie says, we hope it sounds challenging, and let's talk about the reward. You'll have an increased chance of being awarded an exotic armor and masterwork materials. Period. But the main draw of the mode is the new seal and title available for beating each of the Grandmaster Ordeal strikes once during the season, Conqueror. We want this to be one of the most challenging titles to get, but we want it to be approachable for anyone to try who puts in the time and dedication with their team during a given season. All right, so I just want to say, firstly, in terms of having a very challenging, aspirational piece of content, this all sounds great. It really does sound, pretty difficult, and you're going to have to get a pretty darn good team in order to beat it, but that's the point. The fact that it's just an increased chance of getting exotics and masterworking materials, I have a feeling that the reason the Warden of Nothing Nightfall was glitched out is because it was accidentally awarding the rewards of this new Grandmaster Nightfall. So you'll have a chance to pretty much always you'll get an exotic, but whoop-de-doo. Like, I don't think that's a good enough reward. Now, how about you get 2 guaranteed, maybe 3 guaranteed drops of the Nightfall weapon? Then we're talking. But Bungie, please do a little bit more in terms of reward. Yeah, the Conqueror title is nice, but let's get an actual practical gameplay related reward in there as well. I'm not talking anything crazy like an exclusive exotic, just a little bit more than what you already can get from the current Nightfall activities. Moving on from there, we have information on the next Iron Banner. Bungie says the second coming of Iron Banner for the season is already upon us. Lord Saladin will be setting up shop in the tower, and you'll have another shot at finishing the quest and earning the point of the Stag Bow. I did a video on the bow, check it out if you're interested. I think it's actually a pretty powerful weapon for bow users. If you're someone who already uses a bow, well, with the point of the Stag, it has Vorpal Weapon, and Vorpal Weapon impacts different weapon types differently. For the Breachlight, for example, it gives you like 30% more damage against supers. For the point of the Stag, it gives 60% more damage. You can 2-tap pretty much any super in the game with that bow. And again, if you're already an avid bow user, that gives you a lot of utility. And it's going to begin on 10 a.m. Pacific on April 14th, running to April 21st. So that's going to happen next week. And bonus Valor gains are also enabled for that week of Iron Banner. Moving on from there, Bungie does talk about some of the known issues within the game, and usually I skip over this part, but the one that I know is impacting a lot of people is beaver errors. This has been jokingly called the season of the beaver just because how prominent they are. Now, it actually seems to be a little bit of a Steam issue, and Bungie released this chart as showcasing their different fixes, and you can see that after, fix 2, the number of beaver errors are going down significantly, so they're getting closer to hopefully eliminating them completely, but that is definitely good news that whatever they're doing is helping in some respect. And guys, that is it for all of the information within this update. I hope you enjoyed the video, found it informative, and if you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at @RickKackis. That's linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.